Good evening! It's live stream time again. I've got something a little bit different today. I've had quite a lot different from all the other stuff that I've normally done. It's like a CNC lasery thing. Not really been into the realms of lasery machines before, so a little bit different. And I fancied a break from the Voron things because we've done quite a lot of Voron things recently. So yes, we have the Atomstack A5 M50 Pro. And today we're going to try and find out if it's worth getting, I guess. At least we're going to unbox it, kind of take it all apart, put it all together, like we've done with other unboxing stuff before. And we'll maybe try and use it. We'll see how that goes. Good evening to everyone joining in. How are you all doing? How's your weekend been? It's been another fairly warm one here, but it's starting to cool down ever so gradually. Looking forward to some nice cool evenings again. That would be nice. So yeah. Laser machines. As I said, not something I've looked at before, but the principles are pretty similar. Essentially, a laser engraver, or whatever this thing calls itself, is basically like a 3D printer without a Z-axis, or has a Z that's very, very small. So similar in many of the principles, it's just a different tool that's attached. But with the additional change of that tool come a lot of new safety requirements. So I'll be doing my best to determine where we sit on that aspect, or what do you call it? Continuum of safety between very unsafe and very safe, to see how that's going to work out. I do have a smoke alarm, but it is a heat alarm more than it is a smoke alarm. We'll see how we get on with that. I was giving it a little break because I was waiting for past. Hey, made it to a live. We've got some new live people. It's good to see. Definitely some names there that I've not seen before. So welcome to those that are new watchers and or just observers. So let's get into it, I guess. We've hit past, so I'm going to try and use this overhead camera a little bit, but it's a tad wobbly. So if anyone gets a little bit motion sick or doesn't like that it's a little bit wobbly, or if it is just too wobbly, then we'll change it. But this should be the best option if I can keep the table fairly steady for taking a look at what's inside. Now, I haven't really gone through anything in this package yet other than taking the picture for the thumbnail, so it is all pretty new to me. Laser engraver app user manual. So we have an app, a phone app, is it only supports Android and iOS? I mean, that seems like a pretty good thing to cover. The application name is Atomstack, and the application icon is as shown on this figure here. Connection method. I'm not a fan of using apps. I'm hoping we'll be able to use it without an app. Laser engraver user manual. That looks like software manual basically. Is there some English assembly manual in here too? Ah, there's some installation steps as well. I'm not expecting it to be too difficult to assemble. Okay, but there is some assembly instructions in this too. And then there's this. It says giveaway cutting mat, When cutting, please put this mat under the object to prevent damage to the tabletop. Please tear off the surface protective film before use. So this looks like a scrap piece of steel. It's still got like burn marks from where it was laser cut. It won't have been laser cut using a machine like this though. Nowhere near enough power. And right. Where do we start? This is a cable. This is a curly wiggly HDMI cable. I don't know if it's HDMI wired, so be careful with that. This is a wire. What's this? This is a plate with a piece of soft thing attached to it. Or maybe those are like the feet, are they? That seems like a very budget fit, so that seems viable. Only 3. We have this. This is a 12 volt 5 amps power supply. We have a brush. Are you getting this on the screen? Okay. We have a brush. I don't know what a brush is really for. As I said, this is my first time doing a laser based machine, so I may get some things wrong as we go along. I'm not familiar with the process or anything like that. USB A to B, pretty common. Yeah. A little box of goodies, extras. Good evening, Ricky B. Wattage and stuff I'll try and work out in a minute. So we've got some, looks like sample pieces of wood here. Don't know what they are particularly. Are they labelled? No, they feel like kind of balsa wood stuff and a piece of acrylic. You have some zip ties, some screws, a cloth, a belt. These are all labelled, these are assembly step pieces. Some basic tools, and looks like some other pieces of acrylic. I guess they're like test pieces or something. Then we have USB drive, and then some spanners, Allen spanners, tools basically. Here we have an LCD screen which looks really scratched. Really scratched. What the hell is that? Maybe it's just because it's been rattling around in here. The screen is fine, but this plastic around it is... It's very scratched. There's not even any obvious way to open this. Oh, whoops, daisy. There's no screws, so it's obviously just like press fit together. We have a piece of extrusion. We have this. This looks like the actual laser module thing itself. Step 4. There's another piece of extrusion. And we have a European power cable. Useful. Oh, there's more stuff in here. Oh, okay, which order? This thing next. Is this attached to something? This looks like a kind of control box thing. Emergency stop button and a wiring harness attached to it. this looks like the gantry. Yep. And doobie-doobie-doo. Some more extrusion. Tucked very tightly into the bottom of the box. 1 pieces, 2 pieces with like a ruler on it for some reason. Oh, is that the end stop? That's not a great end stop. Okay, sure. I guess it doesn't need to be as precise. Right. That feels like everything. So I actually want to take some stuff apart first, mainly this and this, I think. Just have a closer look at things. Ba, ba, ba. There doesn't seem to be safety glasses, no. That's kind of worrying. Well, unless I find some in the box later, I'm probably not going to be actually using it if it's got no safety equipment with it. So, is that supposed to be zip tied to there? I guess it is. Please cut the cable ties before use. Let's cut it now. It's actually not very easy to cut off. Okay, that's getting wobbly. Let's go back to the steady camera. So hopefully you can see a good amount of this. So we've got our power switch here, that's what all these wires are for, reset switch, the USB, power and the emergency stop switch. Down here are your probes. Looks like at the bottom here we have the X and Y motors with the 2 drivers with the heat sinks on, although there's no fan for cooling. So hopefully they don't do any overheating. In the bottom there, I'm not sure what that is. It's labelled as 12 volts, only got 1 wire going into it. The other one is TTL. Again, I don't know what that is. Over here, there's another thing that just labelled 12 volts, no idea. Can't point out much more. This looks like the power input, but got HDMI over there, SD card down here, micro SD card. It is, yes, it does say ESP32, laser box ESP32 version 1.0. So it does have Wi-Fi module as well. That signal wire is attached. Oh, that's what this is. This antenna thing coming out the back is your Wi-Fi. Interesting. There's 2 different length screws for this. Why? They all go into the same enclosure in the same way, and they've got 2 different lengths. That is... It doesn't bode well as a quality measure that they have 2 different screws for one job. TTL is apparently their serial communication. So this emergency stop switch, probably see, and that will stay disabled until you twist it, and that deactivates it, and then you can run again. I'm not sure quite what this is. This just spins around. And then this is the other thing I quite like to pry open. So that's literally just barely stuck on the front. This screw's not even inserted all the way. When I twisted the emergency stop, it twisted the whole thing. Oh. Well, that's not ideal, is it? Okay, you just don't need to twist it as much as I did. You only need to twist it until it actually comes up. Just don't keep twisting it. Yeah, I don't know how it's fastened to the casing. I think it might just be a press fit. I think it's just press fit. I think it would be kind of okay. It's actually functional. Just as long as you know the twist point, I think I'm not too worried about that. Oh, this is very sticky. So not too much to this. HDMI TFT display with some weird soldering splatter from the buzzer, which I'm sure will be wonderfully annoying. Okie dokie. Now, here's a look at that. This is what they have inside. Laser TFT TS35. I wonder if this kind of display would work on a Raspberry Pi. Oh, is that a magnet? I think there's magnets in the back. There is. So these things in the back are magnets. Oh, I guess that's why it's got like a coiled HDMI cable, so you can hold it in your hands. Only one way to find out: kill another Raspberry Pi. until I find another source for Raspberry Pis, I need to keep as many running as I can. But if it is just, I mean, is it just HDMI? Could I just like plug this into anything? It can't be, can it? Surely not. This is a bit weird. Just a really sticky piece of plastic as the cover. Quality. Right, I guess we can have a look at some assembly. Oh, we can take a look at the laser module, I suppose. My biggest concern is the lack of safety things. I will not be running this unless I deem it appropriately safe. So, this is the laser module. It says, product name, laser module, model number B40, focus mode fixed, max input of laser module 12 volts, 3 amps. Wavelength is 455 nanometers plus or minus 5 nanometers. Pulse working of duration is 1 milliseconds. Frequency 1 kilohertz, maximum laser power 5 watts. And apparently complies with IEC 60825-1 2014. Made in China by Atomstack 3D, Shenzhen Atomstack Technologies Co. Avoid eye or skin exposure to direct or scattered radiation. So it even says they know that it's dangerous. It's literally on the module. It is a class 4 laser. So for those that don't know, class 4 laser is the most powerful category of lasers. There is no upper limit to the power on a class 4 laser. It is as dangerous as it gets. So it's not just direct laser contact that will cause eye damage or damage of any kind. It is also indirect. So if you have it here, it's pointing a laser onto the desk, that reflected radiation is still enough to damage you. So you need appropriate safety equipment to operate this piece of equipment. And this does not look like appropriate safety material. Hello from Matter Hackers. Hello, Michael Hathaway. So yeah, like this is like the only piece. There's for some reason another red piece on the top. But that barely extends past the tip of the nozzle, unless this is literally scraping along the workpiece. I'm pretty concerned about that. You'd have to get it very, very close to ensure that even indirect radiation is nowhere near to your eyes. Without any safety equipment of my own, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to run this today. We'll get it set up and built and try and get it moving, but I don't think we're going to be powering up the laser. 2 to 3 centimeters above, if it's that, then there's no fucking way. Excuse my French. I am not risking my eyesight to test a product. So let's try some assembly. So we've got so we should have a bag labelled step 1. That's good. Quite like having labelled bags. It does make it easier for those that are less familiar with like what screws look like and their names and everything. So this has got like a warning label on one of the things as well. Oh look, there it is. Warning. Mind the fire, wear goggles, no touching, no mirror objects, shut down in time, no tilt, eyes need a guard, beware of laser radiation. And yet, I cannot see inclusion of any such appropriate safety equipment. There's just a power cord in here. That's the only other thing I've missed. Well, I didn't miss it. I put it back because it's literally of no use to me. But there's no other compartments in here that I can't see. Well, that's disappointing. I would agree. It needs an enclosure. Let's have a go at building it at least and see what that process is like. It's like a microwave oven. You shouldn't cook your food with the door open. It's quite a good way of putting it. Yes, it's like selling a microwave oven without a door, isn't it? So the screws go into the edge of those. That's logo side up. That says like that. It doesn't say where the switch goes. These images are not very great. Oh, so the ruler side is over there. To be fair, the extrusion's really nicely cut. Like, there's nothing sharp. It's all like post-processed. But I mean, it's difficult to get past the laser problem, isn't it? What do I want to use to assemble this? Oh, that's a lovely sound. Keep them loose at the moment. It's annoying that they tell you to assemble it this way up, really, because with the switch on the top, you kind of have to turn it all over so you can assemble it flat. Kind of silly. $400 for the case. Well, to be honest, I've not seen the case. I think I'll be asking them to send a case so I can actually use this thing. I have no intention of risking my eyesight, as I already said. So maybe I'll try and get that and we can see if that's worth it. I mean, it's not worth running it without it, but is it worth running it with it? That's what I mean. Does that make sense? That's still like a weird way to phrase that question. But. The problem, from my perspective with glasses, is that you have to be extra careful about looking at it unintentionally, sort of thing, or like just as you enter the room. I'd much rather have a case where it will not run unless protected, because I can come out and it's in and out of this room all the time. If it's running in the corner, it's still not that far away. I'd be really concerned about walking into the room and just looking at it, just happen to look at it, and that's it. It doesn't take long, probably. Atomstack B1 enclosure is the name. Technically doesn't list the M50, only M40, but they seem to be the same size. This is the other thing, the naming scheme of this machine is quite confusing. So I think the company is like something else entirely. Well, I guess the laser was manufactured by Atomstack, wasn't it? That's what it says. Right. Step 2. Oh, there's a lot of steps in one step. I think they can improve their instructions. I think for the number of pages they've already got in this manual, I'm sure other bits can be more efficient. Maybe the digital manual, if there is one, is better, because these need to be bigger pictures and in more steps. They might be claiming that it's only like 4 steps, but if each step is 4 different things, it's not really 3 steps, is it? So this goes on here. They've removed all the label stickering now that was showing you which way to put things, so I'm going to guess this way. Oh, come on. Have they put the wheels so tight? Right, there's some space for feet. 2, 3, 3, 3. This guide makes very little sense. This module, oh, this is like the other cornered foot. Where's this going? Piss. It's just slightly too large for this table. this out of the way. Quite a simple assembly. Mechanically, the quality of the parts is all quite good. There's nothing like super greasy or anything that you have to handle. Mechanically, it seems reasonable at the moment, apart from the obviously lack of safety enclosure, which we've mentioned multiple times, and I'll continue to mention. That's on that. This is a bit. Oh, it's got belts to go on. It does need some adjustment to those wheels. Okay, step 3. There's belts, there's end caps. So I think these are used in a really peculiar way. So I think you put this in here. Oh, where's the belt? There it is. Come on. This is harder than it needs to be. Okay. So that's now the belts to the end. I think it wants you to use one of these in here somehow, and then you screw the nut in. Yeah, this is really odd, but I guess it's going to work. Extra belt length. Got to get the belt on the other side too. They're not particularly high quality belts, they're not Gates belts or anything, and they actually feel very plasticky. Whoops, it is. Look at this. This is what it's expecting me to do. Whoops, it is. So the belt is like there, and you use this hammerhead nut, which is normally used to hold something to the slot, and you're just using it as a way to force the screw into the belt. But in order for that to work, You have to be able to apply enough pressure to get it down like that. Now we want to make sure it's square, which we don't really have a method to do. What about moving it all the way forwards? Oh, because there's a stop there. There's no stop. There's no way to... okay. We'll just have to wing it. Quality certified, apparently. So I guess we just sort of pull this belt tight and whack this in here. Oh, it's not very tight. That's now really somewhere in the middle, please. Whatever. Doesn't quite fit the blooming desk. Does that way. That way, fine. This way is very stiff. Got a spanner here. Don't know why you need a zip tie on your tools, and maybe it's part of their assembly process. Can adjust the V-slot wheels a bit because it's too much. That's a little bit better. This is the other way. That doesn't seem too bad. This still seems a little bit tight. That seems reasonable. Oh, the belt's already gone a bit squiff in there, that's all right. And then there's these end caps, but you could do, I guess 3 of them could go on. I'm not going to bother. That was sharp, something there, bloody hell, that's the end stop switch assembly, that's very sharp and hidden. Tighten the T-nuts, do the belts, after assembly, if you find that the 4 feet are not level, please tighten and loosen. It's as level enough as I can get it. And then this lot. So that's obviously for this switch. And it looks like the rest of the cables are just going to be dangling, which is not great. just loose, and then this motor cable and then you got one final cable which is for that module. I'm not going to plug that in. There's no way I'm going to even slightly power this on because I've got nothing to protect my eyes whatsoever, which makes it bloody unsafe. There's apparently screws at the back. That's already installed. Figure 1. Group 2 installation hole slide block, fasten screw, Torx handle. Group 1st, group 2nd, group 3rd. Oh, so you can have it at different heights depending on what you're actually doing. And then there's, I'm not sure quite how you're supposed to, these holes in the back it looks like they screw into, but it doesn't. It's you literally just put it on and use this to lock it into place. And then we got how to determine the tightness of the eccentric nuts under condition of ensuring that blah, 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 blah. That's just getting the eccentric nuts all right, which I pretty much already did. Step 6. This is the wiring harness that I've already done. Oh, this is like zip tie them to the top of this. Zip tie this to the top of that. That's what these zip ties are for. Is it going to make any difference? It doesn't even mention the screen. Where the dickens do you plug that in? There. Oh, that's the power supply. So that's your control pad thing, I guess, and you can add that and remove it as you need. So it does want you to zip tie the things to the things. So this one, it says zip tie over here. It's basically as a simple strain relief for the connector, so it doesn't randomly pull out whilst you're trying to print. Print? Engrave? Lasery things? It's not great because there's still not really any actual strain relief. The cables are still dangling. They shouldn't dangle on the actual thing that you're trying to make, I guess. That's about as much as these zip ties are going to achieve. Ooh. Interesting sound. Don't know what that is. Maybe I broke it. Probably not. What else have we got? Control box description. USB interface, power slot, instructions for use of the display. Let's try and power it on. Gotta go find a power cable. Not particularly convenient having this power cable dangle over the front of the machine, but again, laser module is not even plugged in. This is the connector, not plugging it in. Laser creates more something. Okay, well, it's not in English. I don't know. Cool. Turn that beeping off. Settings. So there's literally, I'm not sure quite why you need a screen, because the only thing you can do is change the language and start a print by the looks of it. I don't know why I keep calling it a print. I call it a print, it's not a print. Okay, this is literally the least branded SD card I've ever seen in my life. Entirely black. Not even a size. Oh, it does have some stuff in the back. YF04GMTAS-T0CC plus L83A 2007, made in Taiwan. So it's pretty old. Guess we put this in here. Carve. 2mm plywood carved butterfly. 2mm plywood cutting dog. It's not too loud. I mean, I don't know if we can just start it. So it doesn't even check that there's a laser attached. Because it's literally running the code now. So you can control. It's not a very. I don't know what the percentage does. Maybe that changes how quickly it changes the things below. Yeah. Presumably power would be laser power if you think it needs more. A pen is not a bad shout. I mean, I don't have a... Trouble is it can't do lift. It's got no Z, so it can't... It can do single line drawings, but it will never be able to pick the pen up. It needs a... you need to design a little Z-axis motor. I mean, it's got a lot of space here to be able to do that. I mean, you could almost design it around this kind of shape. This is not a great SD card reader thing either. There's normally the kind of thing that you literally kind of look at it, pull the wrong thing, and the whole thing just falls apart. Noise levels are actually not too bad. I was half expecting like really noisy stepper drivers. They are pretty noisy actually. I'm not sure. Maybe they are just A4988 drivers. Yes, but I scraped my knuckle on the power thing in the meantime. I'd say that's poorly designed. Good question though. I'm hitting the emergency. Can't hit it. Can't hit it. Can't hit it. That should not be sticking up there. At least it should be over here, out of the way of this switch. I think what you do is you do that. You set it to like where it's going to do it, and then you press this, and it will start the thing from there. No, it's going to come back here anyway. To cancel print, break off power plug. Yeah, that kind of seems like it. Regardless of what you do, it seems to start it in the corner. I've already shown you what this looks like. I think it's quite... I mean, it is tremendously disappointing. Oh, I'm actually bleeding now. That's nice. In terms of the actual hardware, I think it's not bad, but in terms of safety, they've just completely, I want to say got no idea, but it feels like they have got an idea. They've just tremendously cheaped out, which is not really surprising to anyone, I suppose. How long have we go? It's only been an hour. So I guess pretty easy to set up. I mean, if we were going to be using it, if it was safe, we've got to a point where we are kind of testing something before we've got very far. Although the metal plate that's supposed to protect your desk is like tiny in comparison to the build surface. It wouldn't even be close. The other thing that some of these might have, so there's no, if you were to like literally, you could point it up and point that laser at anyone. There's no motion detection. If it falls off the desk for some reason, so pretty unsafe machine on a scale of 1 to unsafe. I think if it was safe, it might be a good machine, but it's not safe. And the fact that you can't even emergency stop properly, and you can, the machine could fall off something to the point where it's pointing a laser right at you, also very unsafe. Personally, I can't recommend it. But that doesn't mean nobody's going to buy it. No, you wouldn't lift it up while it's printing, but if something happened, this is the thing. You don't make safety features because you're planning to do it. You make them in the event that something does go wrong. If you're doing something else, something falls and it moves or comes off the edge of the desk or something like that. Like, there's a lot of things that could happen. Yeah, you can fix it down. That's certainly doable. The fact that they've got holes is quite good, as you say, for doing that. But then I think it should probably also include brackets. I think that would be a nice addition. Also, really a very cheap addition. If you've got a 3D printer, you could 3D print some little brackets for holding it down. Probably not many, I don't know. I'd like to see more. I think at the very least, safety glasses need to be included. I would personally never use a machine with only safety glasses, I don't think. Because okay, they can come off, you can forget to put them on, there's issues there. If it was like much safer, the problem is class 4 lasers can be so dangerous and cause so much damage. If there's one scenario in its entire life where it causes damage to something or someone, that's a big problem. In my eyes, anyway. Maybe other people will feel differently. With a 3D printer, for example, like the hot end is very hot. It can burn you. It's very unlikely to be near your eyesight or any important organs. It's not going to permanently damage anything. Typically, like you can burn your hand if you touch it. But it's normally very quick. It's kind of, it can be very painful, but it heals and it goes. Eyesight damage is going to be probably a lifetime issue. I'm no expert on eye damage, but I would not want to risk that at all. What do the instructions say? Security. Product belongs to class 4 lasers. The laser itself must meet the requirements of IEC 60825. Our laser engraver has a protective case that prevents people from laser radiation when in place. They're calling this a protective case. Literally like a 1 inch by 1.5 inch piece of red plastic nowhere near to the focal point. If protecting housing equipment is equipped with an access panel which provides walk-in access, the laser itself has a protective cover which is fastened by screws. When the laser is installed on the laser engraver, the protective cover should be checked to be reliably locked. So there's a little Allen key thing on the side. They don't provide anything for adjusting or changing that. I believe this only goes... Yeah, the acrylic is only at the front, it's not a surrounding casing. The housing of the laser engraver has an interlock function. When the housing is opened or removed, the laser can be automatically turned off. The housing of the laser engraver. So what if I don't understand. Has an emergency stop button, has a reset button. Laser engraver use physical keys, dongle, password system and other ways to manage and control and prevent personnel without safety training from operating such equipment. No, this one you literally just come up and press the button. Set a warning mark on any window. This is instructions for like implementation. If the laser burns the skin or eyes, please go to a nearby hospital for examination and treatment. Laser safety, fire safety, material safety, power safety, environment safety. We installed a laser shield on the laser. The shield can largely filter out the diffused reflection of the laser spot. However, when using laser engraving machine, it is recommended that you should wear laser protective glasses. Avoid skin exposure to Type-4 laser beams, especially at the closed distance. Teenagers must have parental supervision in the process of using it. Do not touch the laser engraving module when the machine is activated. When handling the product, you must wear appropriate goggles, OD5+, to protect eyes from laser light, including reflected and stray light. The reflected and stray light spilling into an unintended area should be attenuated and/or absorbed. This product is not a toy, is not suitable for people under 15. Do not allow children to touch the laser module. So they seem to have full awareness of the dangers of the system. It just suggests that you should, but there's none included. I really think they should be included. File is print done. I mean, the fact that it says there's security options, like there's nothing at all. You can literally just print that, go, done. Nothing, there's no, like your animal, your dog could do that. They do seem very confident on their laser blocking shield thing. That's correct. Was that, presumably these black things are the shims. Is there more instructions on how to set that up? As shown in the picture, place the cutting pad. Cutting pad should be placed to cover the working area as far as possible. Clear spurt. So this one's the shim. I mean, I think they're nearly the same thickness. Software, touch tone, Laser focus adjustment. That's step 6. The effect of engraving or cutting depends on whether the material is focused or not. Most of the existing laser engraving machines on the market use zoom lasers. It is necessary to turn the focus nut while staring at the laser spot to observe whether the laser is focused. Staring at the laser spot for a long time can hurt your eyes, even with goggles, and is difficult to distinguish small changes in focus. It is difficult to find the best laser focus. In order to solve this problem, we abandoned the traditional zoom laser and installed a fixed focus laser on our engraving machine. The focus is at the thickness of a fixed focus film of the laser, and the fixed focus film is attached in the package. When using, only need to adjust the laser. The following is the specific operation. Move the laser head to the object to be engraved or cut. Place a fixed focus film on the object to be engraved or cut. Yeah, this is the thing, not the clear one. The clear one is for test cutting. That's what this says anyway. Although the big one, oh no, the white one is much bigger, okay. Loosen the Torx handle screw in the middle of the laser and let the laser slide freely until it touches the fixed focus plate. After contact, you can gently lift the laser and take out the fixed focus plate. What? Well, if I lift the laser, it's not going to be at the right height anymore. So you would put wood down, then this, drop this onto this, and then remove this. That is pretty close. Well, you can't really see from that angle. So let me do that again. This is the material you want to cut. Then you put your clear doobly on the top. Bish bash bosh. Let go of this, let it drop onto the surface. I apply a tiny bit of pressure, tighten it down, that fixes the distance, and then take this out from here. I mean, it's a bit light and wobbly, but take out the fixed focus piece and finish focusing. The engraver doesn't know where to engrave, so before you start engraving, there is an important task that is positioning. We will complete the positioning operation in 3 steps. Select the Move to Center button. The laser will move to the center of the pattern, and the engraving will be placed below the laser. Click Light Laser button. The laser will emit a weak light. The laser emits irradiation points is the center of the engraving pattern. Based on this, adjust the position of the engraved object. Click Profile Scan button. The laser will start to scan the outer contour of the pattern on the computer. You can change the position of the engraved object. So this is like all control via computer, not via anything else at the moment. Yeah, I can appreciate holding workpiece, that's fine. And then there's using Lightburn as a... There is an instruction, so Lightburn has a installation tutorial, step 9. We can download installation package from the Lightburn website, and then other techniques for using the machine. Precautions, common problems, maintenance instructions and warnings. If you need laser assistance for adjustment, please, all personnel wear protective glasses. Make sure there are no flammable or explosive materials around. The position and direction of the laser are fixed to ensure the laser will not accidentally move and shine on people. Don't look at lasers. Do not shine the laser on the mirror object, lest the laser reflection cause accidental injury. So, if it came with glasses, I think maybe I would have tried, because this is 3mm. It's basically impossible to get to a point where you're looking at the reflected part of that cutting surface. So I'm still apprehensive to say it's safe with glasses, because it's still a bit of a risk. enclosure is just, it depends what level of risk you're comfortable with. In my mind, this is too much risk for me, even with safety glasses, but your level of risk is up to you. I'll try and get the enclosure and some safety glasses for another time, and maybe we'll be able to come back to this. Maybe it has some potential, but is there anything more we can really do? It would have been nice to actually use it. I'm quite disappointed, really. And I'm sure you all are too, because you want to see it actually do it. Three millimeters is quite close, isn't it? It is. I would probably also, I mean, this is all like shoulda, woulda, coulda kind of stuff. Like this whole moving around on the desk and being away from something, I would be tempted to like fix a board to it. Like this needs to be attached to a base. This frame on its own is not enough. It's too open. You use these feet to fix it to whatever base material you want. Maybe something that is reflective. I don't. So obviously it's not going to cut this metal, and that's, I guess, the reason for having it at the base. Because if you just have a plywood base, it's just going to potentially cut through it, which you don't want. But do you also want it reflecting? Because that is, again, a safety risk. Could you have like a black metal, but that black would then absorb a lot of it and it would get very hot. But then if it's a large piece of aluminium, it will dissipate it a lot. Again, I'm not very experienced with lasers, unfortunately, so I can't say precisely what the right thing is here. But I feel like a base would be a nice addition as well. No, close your eyes is not good. The reason, so safety with lasers is not about blocking all the light that it's emitting, because you still need to be able to see it. If you cannot see that it's on, you wouldn't know whether it's safe to take your glasses off or not, if you see what I mean. If you can only take them, or should only take them off when this is off, then you wouldn't know if it's off or not off. Like, okay, you've got a screen and stuff, that's fair enough. But I did a bit of research on laser safety, and it's ill-advised to block something, to wear something that blocks all of the emitted light. You want something that blocks, like, I don't know what percentage it was, some high percentage of the light, so it doesn't damage your eyes, but you can still see what's going on. You could easily spend more just doing more and more. So if I was to, I mean, I'd want a like known practical good use for the machine before I go in like investing into things. Oh, this space again. Presumably it would operate reasonably well, just like this way up, like attached to a wall or something daft. I mean, that's again a safety problem probably. I have a CO2 laser, so there's too much of a toy. Yeah, compared to CO2 it is. It is only 5 watts. Electric power 40 watts, but that laser power is, what was it? 5, yeah. So the rest is for the screen, the MCU, the steppers. Unless anyone has questions, we might just finish there. Hour and 20 minutes, a bit shorter than my other recent live streams, but there you go. This is how these things go. Some are longer, some are shorter. It has Wi-Fi on it. There's a Wi-Fi antenna sticking out the back here. I mean, it's covered by all this aluminium, but there is Wi-Fi. I don't know how to do that, but definitely going to be a revisit, this one, isn't it? Sounds like there's quite a few things we can try out. We can update firmware, that's not a problem. That is something I've done many times before. Okay, we'll call it a day there then. We'll revisit this hopefully sometime in the future, either with an enclosure, but definitely with some safety equipment. And we'll look at doing like actually making something and maybe setting up the Wi-Fi, doing that firmware update and stuff as well. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this has maybe been a useful first look. My first impressions are that there are some safety concerns, especially like the lack of safety glasses. But other than that, mechanically it seems pretty sound. Electrically, it'd be nice if there was some like tilt safety feature. But other than that, it's mechanically definitely pretty reasonable for this price of machine. So thanks very much, everyone. Don't forget to head over to Vector 3D, my web shop. We've got the Daylight PCBs, the Daylight Mini, Daylight Neo Mini, and Daylight Neo, all in stock at the moment, so they can ship pretty quick. We also got the divided PCBs; they're available at the moment. And what else is there? Of course, Cauliflower, that's always available. If you want some digital thing to download, we might actually be able to try that on this machine even as well. So that would be cool. Although I don't know what the firmware situation is quite for adjusting things, but we can certainly try it. But yes, head over there if you want to check that out. I do ship to the US. It's obviously not that cheap because it's a long way, but I try to make the design of my packaging and stuff hopefully not like as small as it can be, so it's not ridiculous cost, but it can be fairly expensive going to the US. There'll be a reseller for some of the stuff soonish, but not quite yet. So if you want it sooner rather than later, I can ship them from here. I do ship worldwide. Anywhere that Royal Mail ships to, you can receive. Cool. Thanks very much, everyone, and I'll catch you in the next one.